Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Prime Spiderman 76 and today we are going to be talking about the whole season of Your Friendly Neighbourhood Spiderman. Let's get straight to episode 1. This premiere does a great job introducing its version of Peter Parker. Right away, the show establishes a unique identity instead of simply retailing the same Spider-Man story that we have seen countless times. The animation style feels like classic comic books brought to life, and you guys know that I say that many times. And the pacing keeps things moving forwards, which is always a very good thing. One of the biggest strengths is Peter himself. He's awkward, relatable, and genuinely feels like a teenager trying to figure things out. The supporting cast also gets enough attention to make the world feel lived in. As for flaws, the episode moves so quickly that some character introductions don't get much room to breathe. A few viewers may also feel that the opening throws a lot at you at once. Overall, it's a strong start that balances classic Spider-Man themes with fresh ideas, so I'd give it about an 8 out of 10. Now we have episode 2, The Parker's Luck. This episode leans heavily into one of Spider-Man's most famous traits. Nothing ever comes easy. The story does a great job showing how difficult it is to balance normal life with growing responsibility. One thing I really liked was how the show develops Peter's relationships. Conversations feel natural, and there's a stronger focus on character interactions than pure action. The episode also expands the world around Peter, making the series feel larger than just one hero's story. The main weakness is that some viewers may find the action lighter than expected. This chapter is more focused on setup and character building than huge superhero moments. Still, that slower approach helps the emotional side of the story land much better. Overall, episode 2 succeeds because it remembers that Spider-Man works best when Peter Parker's life is just as interesting as the superhero side. I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. For episode 3, Secret Identity Crisis, the show starts getting really interesting. This is where the season starts to feel its rhythm. The central theme revolves around trust, responsibility, and complications that come with living a double life. What works best here is the character drama. The writers do a good job showing how secrets affect friendships and relationships without making everything feel too overdramatic. This episode also gives more attention to side characters, helping them feel important rather than solely around Peter. One criticism is that storylines compete for screen time because several characters are developing at once. A few moments feel slightly rushed. The action scenes are enjoyable, but clearly not the main attraction for this episode. Instead, the emotional conflicts carry most of the episode. Overall, this chapter adds depth to the cast and reinforces what makes Spider-Man stories compelling in the first place. Strong character work and meaningful themes earn it an 8.5 out of 10. Now we have episode 4, Hitting the Big Time. This episode focuses heavily on ambition and opportunity. Peter finds himself dealing with bigger expectations, and that creates some interesting challenges. The strongest aspect is how it explores success. The show asks whether getting what you actually want makes life easier, and the answer isn't always simple. Visually, the animation continues to impress, especially during the action sequences. The comic-inspired presentation remains one of the show's biggest strengths. On the downside, the pacing occasionally feels uneven. Some scenes move quickly, while others linger longer than necessary. A few supporting characters also don't get as much attention as they received in a previous episode. Even with those issues, the episode does a great job building momentum for the rest of the season. Overall, Hitting the Big Time offers solid character development, fun action, and meaningful themes. It's another strong installment that earns about an 8 out of 10. The Unicorn Unleashed, Episode 5. This episode feels more action-focused than several early chapters, and that's a welcome change of pace. The action is energetic, creative, and makes excellent use of Spider-Man's abilities. Another highlight is the introduction and development of new characters. The show continues expanding its version of the Marvel Universe in many interesting ways. The humour lands particularly well here. Peter's personality shines, and the dialogue feels natural and entertaining. As for flaws, some viewers may find certain plot developments a bit predictable. The episode follows a familiar superhero structure at times. That said, strong execution helps overcome most of these concerns. The animation team also deserves credit for delivering some of the season's most visually exciting sequences so far. Overall, this is one of the most entertaining episodes of the season, combining action, humour, and character moments effectively. I'd give episode 5, The Unicorn Unleashed, an 8.5 out of 10. Moving on to episode 6, Duel with the Devil. This episode is where the season starts feeling more confident. The stakes are higher, the action is sharper, and the story begins moving towards bigger conflicts. One major strength is the atmosphere. There's a slightly darker tone without losing the fun spirit that defines Spider-Man. The episode also features some excellent character interactions that add emotional weight to the action. What impressed me most is how focused the storytelling feels. The narrative knows exactly what it wants to accomplish. The biggest weakness is that some of the new viewers might miss references or connections that long-time Marvel fans appreciate. Still, the episode works well on its own and doesn't rely entirely on fan service. Overall, this is one of the strongest installments so far. Great pacing, memorable action, and solid character work make it a standout chapter. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Now we have episode 7, Scorpion Rising. And you can guess, that which character is going to be in this episode. For many fans, this is where the season reaches another level. The tension is constantly high, and multiple storylines begin paying off in satisfying ways. What works best is the sense of consequence. Characters make choices, and those choices actually matter. The action scenes are some of the strongest in the entire season, delivering excitement without sacrificing storytelling. Another strength is the supporting cast. Nearly everyone has a purpose, and their stories feel interconnected. The only notable flaw is that the episode can feel crowded. With so many moving parts, certain movements don't get as much breathing room as they deserve. Still, the momentum rarely slows down. Overall, this episode delivers excellent action, strong emotional stakes, and meaningful chapter development. It's one of the season's highlights, and earns another 9 out of 10. For episode 8, Tangled Web, this episode shifts focus towards the emotional burden of being Spider-Man, rather than concentrating entirely on action. It explores pressure Peter faces from every direction. The strongest element is the character writing. Peter feels human, flawed, and relatable throughout this episode. The themes of responsibility and balance are handled especially well. They feel natural rather than forced. One criticism is that the pacing slows down considerably compared to the previous episode. Viewers looking for non-stop action may find this chapter less exciting. However, the quieter movements provide important development and help strengthen the overall story. The episode also gives several supporting characters meaningful contributions, which keeps the world feeling alive. Overall, Tangled Web may be slower, but its emotional depth makes it one of the season's most important chapters. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. For episode 9, Hero or Menace, the tension ramps up dramatically. The story feels focused, urgent, and packed with momentum. One thing this episode does extremely well is exploring public perception. It asks important questions about what makes someone a hero and who gets to decide that. The action is exciting, but the real strength comes from the character conflicts driving everything forward. The supporting cast continues to shine, and several storylines start converging in satisfying ways. If there's a flaw, it's that the episode occasionally feels like setup for the finale. Some threads are clearly being saved for later rather than resolved now. Still, the excitement generated by that build-up makes it easy to overlook. Overall, episode 9 does exactly what a penultimate episode should do: raise the stakes and make you eager for the finale. I would give it a 9 out of 10. And now we have episode 10, If This Be My Destiny, the finale for season 1 of My Friendly Neighbourhood Spider-Man. So, let's wrap things up. This finale delivers a satisfying conclusion while still leaving room for the future stories. The pacing is fast, the stakes feel significant, and the episode rewards viewers who followed the season closely. One of the biggest strengths is how well it brings together the season's major themes. Responsibility, identity, and personal growth all play important roles. The animation looks fantastic, like usual, especially during the larger set pieces. The visual styles remain distinctive from beginning to end. As for flaws, a few story elements move so quickly that they could have benefited from more screen time. So, viewers may also want more answers by the end. Even so, the emotional payoff works extremely well. Overall, this is a strong season finale that caps off an impressive first season. It's exciting, emotional, and memorable. I would give episode 10 a 9.5 out of 10. Thank you everybody for watching this video. Overall, I would give My Friendly Neighbourhood Spider-Man an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe and drop what your favourite episode was in the comments. Thank you, and remember, anyone can wear the mask.